Oh. You have a cannon. That's fine. May I help you? Yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Rinosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. Hey. Everything in this room is canon, I suppose. There are some live shells above the fireplace, which, if it were up to me, you'd put them anywhere except for on top of a fireplace. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb. Is she going to testify? Did you see that, Miss Sato? That was a real-life English maid. I know. As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. I love to watch... I love to meet servants. Certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We only need to meet a butler, and the experience will be complete. I'll have all of my servant baseball cards. I'm not sure if I go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. Walk this way. Oh, he's right there. And his face is the moon? I'm gonna have a little looky-low. That's a full-sized cannon. What's it doing in here? Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing? Bah, that's little more than a toy.
Sorry?
The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house.
Really? It isn't overkill? Also, you are stirring your tea with your pipe. Don't recommend. Unless it's one of those pipes that blows bubbles, in which case, yes, do that a lot.
Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy.
Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garadeb?
Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon there, Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel.
It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. Both the tea and the pipe are going into his mouth. Checks out. Anything crazy over here? Oh, all of your shit is broken. That's crazy. Yeah, what the hell did you fire? They fired the cannon at the shelves.
Good day to you. John Garadeb at your service.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryonosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maiwand, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings.
So he's a retired soldier.
It's a hell of a job getting up and down the stairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine.
Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. You think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
no, it was nothing. The medal's just a photo roll, really. A Generalprobe, if you will. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. It is evidence in the murder, after all. Joan, fetch the...
Oh no! What did you do that for?
Dash it all, woman. Be careful.
Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir.
You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands.
I shall be more careful, sir. I guess, yeah. Forgot to say when.
So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now.
Yes, I see.
Now then, I hear you want to hear about the chap lodging downstairs. Is that right?
Wait, you own the upstairs and the downstairs, and you can barely walk, but you rent out the downstairs apartment instead of living there? What's wrong with you? Yes, we'd be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only too pleased, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were.
Oh, is it?
Even had some famous detective poking around, you see. In this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Quite didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business.
Oh, but you have a copy of Rancid magazine here, so...
No. Anyway,
that's her. Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in Soseki's room.
It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. Jolly unsettling.
Seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time?
The window?
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garadeb household. I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all. Even if it seems unrelated.
Well.
Yes? Was there something then?
Well, it's nothing particularly significant. For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing.
Oh, dearie me, what have I done? Awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. He didn't even ask for more tea. If I may, Mr. Naruhalo. Oh, yes? I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garadeb? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been.
Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a try. Joan, dash it all, what is the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Yes, quite. Nothing happened. Sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's right, Mr. Garadeb. Is this like Misery? He's being held captive. What is the matter with these two? It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what? I wish I knew. About Mr. Natsume, then, Mr. Garadeb, please do tell us.
Ah, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently, then.
I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below.
You're on the 3rd-ass floor? Oh, no, wait a second. Hold on. Hold on. Wait. They said 2nd floor, right? This is another British thing. Where they when they say 1st floor, they don't mean the ground floor. The lowest floor to the ground is the 1st floor, and then is the ground floor, and then above that is the 1st floor. So by saying 2nd floor, he means 2 stories up from the ground floor. I see. Even more ridiculous. Why are you up there? The fucking... He can't even tell us about who he rents to? Even that gets interrupted? She has a lot of tea at her disposal, and it's very hot.
Dash it also. Do be careful.
Oh, my goodness. I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh? Why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking, looking over his shoulder. By programmers, there you go. Start with 0. You start with 0, and then the next one is 1. That's so funny, though, that that it actually came up in, you know. I want, like... I actually pointed out... I opened the stream by pointing out that the thing before the title screen that says, oh, don't close, you know, when you see this icon, the game is saving, so don't close your game whilst this icon is on the screen. And I'm like, even this is British. And I'm like, okay, it must be, with all the British spellings and all the Britishisms, it's not just that, okay, the game takes place in Britain. Like, it must have been localized for Britain, or, you know, for England, whatever. And I don't know, like that, I mean, I guess that's fine, you're allowed to do that, but it feels weird to see something that's localized into English, but it's clearly not localized into American English. Oh, yes, everything. Favorable, honor, everything's been spelled with U's the whole way through the game. And what was the other thing? There's been a bunch of things. I either point them out or just smile inwardly about them, but like when somebody says, oh, when someone says different to instead of different than, which just looks so strange to see it, but again, if it's not, neither one is correct or incorrect, it's American English versus British English. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I wasn't asking you. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. Wow, we got a regular He-10 style over here. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. I know it is, but like the game was released in like, don't most games get localized twice? Do they? Don't they? Or do they not? No, that's what all of the games that I play are written in American English. So I guess I assume, like, if you were to go, oh, okay, it's back in the Super Nintendo days where we separately release a game in the PAL format for Europe. It's like, I would expect that version of the game to have different English, maybe. Or maybe not. Who knows? Is there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? I've been waiting for them to say, like, it was 6:30. But, no, we do say, yeah, we say 1:45, but we definitely don't say half, like, it was 6:30, or half 3. We say it was 2:45 if it was 2:45. Or quarter of. Yes, oh yes, indeed there was. Oh, she's dying to tell us. Alright, tell us about the shady lodger. Had you noticed anything else about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room, absolutely stuffed full of books it is, more than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house is going to bed, too. Oh, I see. Yeah, quarter of 5, or 4:45 would be 4:45. But we don't have any way of saying 4:30. Like, before, in either direction. Right? Wasn't that's the weird thing, right? I discussed this with Serp a couple years ago, maybe. Isn't it like, in some parts of Europe, they would say 5:30 if they meant 4:30, and in others, they would say 5:30 if they meant 5:30. It's like, well, pick one. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Ah. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh! I'd understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct?
Oh, that's right. They're both below us on the first floor and street level.
See, if I had never heard of that name, floor numbering convention before, I would have been blown to smithereens by this. Like, what? Do cats and dogs live together in England? Nobody really says, like, 2:30. Like, I guess you could. Only if you wanted to be weird. First floor and street level. Then how is it you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed.
Good grief, Joan. Be more careful, woman.
Oh my goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. Can I go in the room? Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on?
Certainly. Just below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak?
Yes, told me Natsu's name had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean.
Don't See why not? It's just down one flight of stairs.
Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on. Shall we? Yes. And what? See, she said while instead of whilst. What's going on here? Is she secretly American? We can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Or are while and whilst two different words? Of course they are. Books, also cats. Books and cats. Boots and cats and boots and cats. But no, that's boots and cats. Books and cats. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way... Winnie the Pooh's jar of honey. Is it supposed to be, like, glue? Like, glue for binding books? Maybe. I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garridub told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. I found him. No, I didn't. It's just a candle. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. You could almost rearrange them in order to form the path for a shot put ball to roll down a bookcase and hit someone in the head, killing them secretly because they were the mastermind behind kidnapping 16 people. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe, for me at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Why, is that why they present the tea like that? Because you drink it and then you only drank it once and then it's gone forever? Because it's in your stomach? Reasonable. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes. Surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done. Mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your Books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look. And the date of purchase. 2 days ago, 4:45 p.m. Doesn't seem very important. Let's throw it out. Let's throw it on the candle and burn it. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Oh, hello there. I'm looking at the court record first, though. Oh. Your Books. Customer, Mr. Natsume. The sum of 2 shillings tendered in receipt of The Picture of Monsieur Lecoq. A meal for Gabriel Canterbury Yearnings. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Buria. Surely you recognize us. We are wearing the same clothes as always, as are you.
Yes, of course, the Buria. Let me see, what happened on that voyage?
It was Kazuma Asugi. He died, tragically, but you were a great help to us.
Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asugi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh. Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least. What an honor with a U to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr.
Oh, no, my dear madame. Hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato.
Try the other way around.
Kurikaisu.
Guru Mawaru.
I lose the first round. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes.
So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short an amount of time?
I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure titled A Study in Scarlet.
Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. That means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. Dear Madame, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case.
Okay, I discuss it. Bloop. Let's talk about the dinge.
This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner.
All right. Valid. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one.
Ah, but sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea?
No window?
Well, I mean, I can clearly see that as a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks.
Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. You got a license for that window?
Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on... Surely not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh my goodness.
Until relatively recently, a tax was
No! You're full of it. This is this is one of those times when it's like, oh, I'm going to get one over on old Hitan, and for some reason I've moved to France. I don't believe that for a second. And here I go, paste the, where's ever to paste the Wikipedia page, like, oh, window tax was a, you know, British man. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. Yeah. Okay. I get it. Anything you find on the internet is real. Okay. Oh my god, there's an entire like a library dedicated to taxation in the United Kingdom. HM Treasury, HM Revenue and Customs, VAT, income tax, national insurance, health and social care levy, corporation tax, capital gains tax, motoring taxes, inheritance tax, stamp duty reserve tax, stamp duty land tax, annual tax on enveloped dwellings, insurance premium tax, air passenger duty, petroleum revenue tax, aggregates levy, various alcohol and gambling related duties, bingo duty, climate change levy, landfill tax, machine games duty, tobacco duty, vehicle excise duty, and it goes on. And window tax was in there somewhere. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. That's not true either. What, because the miasma couldn't get out? Did their humors get disturbed? Their yellow bile and phlegm? So some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings, such as these, for example. I would have worn out my scroll button, my scroll wheel, I'm sure, trying to get to the see also section. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging. Discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Frickin' window tax, of all things. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. Alright, have a good one, Garrett. See you tomorrow, hopefully, for England Land stream. That didn't even occur to me. That both of my games take place in various fictional Englands, where they have fictional taxes, like window tax. I can't believe it's... Alright. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Miss Susato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking at Susato squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh? How? assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books. I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. Oh dear. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I'd ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. It was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. With an S. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs, specifically in the retired Army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. Fade to black. Fade from black. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruto. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that. You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then. I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Oh yes, that was indeed my initial intention, but there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. And one more thing. Okay, so 3 things. So you were wrong about there only being 2 things. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. Cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to the case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garadeb is? Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that really is all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadeb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Busy man indeed. He's going back to his book in the corner of the room. Oh, look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him. I couldn't remember what they were called. I figured, like, there's enough Japanese stuff in the name that they would actually say the real name of it. Maneki Neko. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll? He brought a Daruma, okay. Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a Lucky Charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same. No, you put this in stores. Or was he planning to make this into a bookstore? Who knows? Not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say it! Why are my eyes such a giveaway? What's that? This appears to be some sort of meter on the wall here. It looks very robust, apparently. Didn't think meters could look robust. I wonder what it's here for. There's a slot for inserting current. Oh, it's just the heat tax. Okay. I believe that is a gas meter, Mr. Naruhodo. A gas meter? Yes, it seems there is piped gas in this district, which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter. So if we were to put a coin in the slot, that would be enough gas to use the lights and gas fire for the whole night. So if you're too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold? That's right. As would a rich man who carried only crisp white notes. Well, you're not too good for green money? London's weird. Brr, London's a scary place. No Winnie the Pooh, honey. That's just books. That's the window again. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Though all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? Why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. It's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. I would definitely stab someone sooner or later. Cat. Aw. Oh, he was sitting on a clue. Maybe. Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mikke. Is that different than a calico? Oh, wait. Nope, there we go. Calico cat. The ones with the black and whatever. Okay, same thing. It's just called something else. Other names include brindle, tricolor cat, Mike neko, which is Japanese for triple fur cat. Not going to even attempt the Dutch word. A tricolor Mike, was it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Oh, I should have checked on the page while I had it up, but isn't it true that calicos are only male? Because it's like a... whatever the genetic combination you need to get a calico only comes from science. Science talk. Where did I hear that? Who knows? Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. Oh, he is still over there. Yeah, figures that we come back here and can learn something new now. Are they going to be gone? No.
Are you Paragon? And tell me, was the detective chap, I forgot his name, still hard at work down there?
Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid.
Well, Mr. Sholmes is... Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there.
Oh, jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan.
Danger! Danger! Danger energy. Danger tea energy.
For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're barely well doing?
I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind.
Oh, yes, of course. We're deeply grateful for all your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garadev is hiding something, and since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging, even though he, could not have said more clearly, I want you to leave my house now. Oh! Well, hello there. What's he doing over there? This is like the 4th time they've used that joke, where they made sure that the things that you investigate, they give you 2, but it's not like, here's a full screen of stuff, and then here's a second full screen of stuff. It's just, here's this, and then another, third of a screen if you pan to the side. And it's just enough that it's very funny that he's there when you pan. Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, we meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here?
Herlock Sholmes, sir. At your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window?
I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madame. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Oh, wow.
Keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering.
And one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, me? Thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I
take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo. You take it incorrectly, because it's almost 9, so we'll save that for next time. I am not the least bit prepared. We will save here and resume this game on Thursday. So thank you guys for being here. We'll be playing a Monsters Expedition tomorrow. Same usual time. We'll return to the Great Ace Attorney on Thursday, kicking right off with one of the crazy deductions, which I like a lot. They're fun. Alright, that is all. Thank you all for being here, and have a great night. Good night, Serp.